Call of Duty fans rejoice, we're looking at the Spectre in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. That's right, Black Ops fans, if you guys have played the game, you know exactly what this gun is. It is the Spectre, or better yet, the Echo1 Spectre RDP, which stands for Rapid Deployment Pistol. But let's just tell like it is, this thing is far more than a pistol. We're going to start with the externals, and then I'm going to show you what's under the hood after that. So end to end, this is a polymer AEG. There are actually very few metal parts on it, with the exception of the front and rear sights, this little kind of slide bolt carrier trigger, sling in the back. That's about it. Everything else on it is polymer. So it makes for a very, very light platform. So starting at the front, we are going to talk about what's on this gun, how everything works, and all the little bits and pieces you get. So like I said, the front sight and the rear sight here, moving across the top, are metal. It's got nice shrouding on the side, so you're not going to knock it or bump it or anything out of the way. And for quick shooting, I like the way they did the front here. Even though you have a tiny little sight post, you got this huge kind of groove. So it makes it real easy to quickly snap shoot and not even have to worry about lining up that sight. In the rear, you do get a little notch back here. Unfortunately, you're not looking at something that's very adjustable at all for windage. It's a pistol, so it's not going to really matter. The front is adjustable vertically, although again, it's a pistol. It's not going to matter. Also, you're not going to get a lot of rail space on this. In fact, the only rail you're going to get is this little metal rail here on the side. That's it. So you're not going to be able to put an optic on here, which is kind of a little bit of a downside, but being so small and being room clearing kind of AEP, it's not even AEP because this thing is fully loaded under the hood. We'll talk about that in a second. You don't really miss the fact that you don't get a sight. Across the front, you have some neat venting looking here that you can see the inner barrel or the outer barrel inside of. Of course, it's just for looks, and the real one that would be to dissipate the heat off the barrel. Across the side, you get a small door here for the hop up. It is a little tough to get in there and reach that standard wheel style hop up. It's a plastic hop up. It's got that regular wheel. You got to reach in there and turn, and the door only goes back so far, like almost a little bit less than a centimeter. So you're going to need to get your pinky in there or use like a small screwdriver. If you got average size hands, even like me, it makes it really kind of tough to get in that hole to move it. It's not impossible though, but it can be a little challenging. Moving on down the side where the trigger and the fire controls and all that stuff work, you have a safe and fire switch here on the side. It's definitely one you're going to have to twist with your hand. It might break in a little bit, but it's not something you're going to be able to move very easily with your finger. You can probably pull it back into fire mode, but pushing it back away back into safe can be a bit of a challenge. Also, you do have a semi and full auto switch on this. It looks like there's one on the right side and the left, but the one on the right is just molded into the body. The one on the left is functional and very easily reached with your thumb, so it's easy to move it down into full auto or switch it back up into semi no matter what you're doing on the battlefield. Also around the back, you do get that swivel sling attachment point, so you can have this to the side, or if you want to run two of them, you can run two of them, and I know you're going to want to run two of these things. Moving on, you do have one more switch here in front of the trigger in this very large trigger well, and that's to drop the magazine out. Now, of note, this magazine is a mid cap. It comes with it, and additional magazines are pretty darn affordable for the most part. However, it's a 40 round mid cap, and they don't make any high caps for this gun, which is kind of a little disappointing. Now, if you guys are watching this in the future and they've maybe come out with them, ignore this part. But as of right now, as of filming, this gun's been out for a little bit over a year even. So this isn't like a brand new review. They don't have high caps yet, and I really wish they did. The actual form factor of this magazine is pretty darn wide. It's definitely bigger than an MP5 magazine and about the size of a UMP, but shorter magazine. So they should be able to put a wheel on the bottom and make that happen. I'm not sure why they haven't done it yet, considering 40 rounds is pretty low for a CQB room clearing gun. I would want a few more rounds in this thing to carry it on the battlefield, but again, it's not the end of the world. It's just one of my minor little issues I have with the pistol. And rounding everything out, you're going, well, this thing's pretty small. Where does the battery go? Right here in the front grip. This big old grip doubles as your battery compartment. It has a little door in the bottom. You flip the switch, it pops open, and you get a small type Tamiya connector there. It's wired through the body down in there. It also includes in the box an 8.4 battery, which fits in there perfectly. You are not going to be able to get a 9.6 or larger battery in there. It's just not long enough to make that happen. So you're kind of stuck with the 8.4, or you can get a small buffer tube style LiPo, which really brings this thing to life. And you'll see why when we talk about the chronos here in a second. So taking it to the chrono, we saw numbers that are going to be happy for any field owner, indoor or out. You're seeing about 310, 315 feet per second, which is a nice healthy number. Nothing bad. No, you're not going to overshoot somebody because this is designed for up close and personal action. That's a really good FPS. Also, rate of fire on the 8.4. Well, it's kind of low, and by kind of low, I mean like under 9 rounds a second, so it's definitely something you're going to want to look into swapping. Trigger response, though, in semi is still really good, but just that full auto rate of fire is a little lacking. But considering you do have that 40 round mag, it might be good to have that low rate of fire so you can conserve your ammo. That said, when you jump up to the 11.1 LiPo, this guy comes alive. We're seeing 17-ish or even higher rounds per second with it, which is a really good number. Now we're getting there to those numbers we're looking for. So fortunately, you do have an option if you want to turn it up. And you were looking at this thing going, well, it's kind of small. It looks like they maybe like skimped on the internals. And normally I do my internal section before I do my chrono, but I wanted to flip them here because under the hood is a full version 3 mech box. Full metal mech box, everything. The outside might be polymer, the inside is full metal with Echo1 internals. So good news is you can upgrade this thing. You can put whatever you want under the hood, and that is the best part. You have standard AEG motors, standard gear set. It's surprising, but the same mech box in here is the same one they put in their AKs. So you can do whatever you want to this gun. So if you want to shoot 350 or even 400, although that might be tough with a little short barrel, you can make that happen. You want to change the rate of fire by putting a beefier motor in here, like a high-speed motor? No problem. All that can happen because they went with a standard version 3 mech box to power this little beast. So guys, if you are looking for something that is fun, very lightweight, I mean, this thing's super easy to hold as a pistol. I mean, because it's made of polymer, even though that metal mech box inside makes it nice and light, but yet still very controllable for CQB, take a look at the Echo1 Spectre RDP. It's actually pretty affordable too. If you guys want to learn more, as always, I have a link down in the description below so you can check it out.
As always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not currently a subscriber, click on the logo in the bottom right or in the description and you'll always be in the know. Plus, if you like what you saw in this video and want to learn more, I've got a link down there as well. And if you haven't had your airsoft fix just yet, click in the videos on the right or use the info button at the top of the screen for more. And as the saying goes, everyone has an opinion, and I do want to hear yours. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video, comment, and share.